Hey, welcome back. I'm Papa, and I am cooking for the hungry. Today I'm going to put to rest what that dish was that I put up. Nobody could guess it. Um, it's old school something, and with my twist on it, of course. Uh, so I'm going to be blanching some tomatoes, and I got the water heating up. This is a real simple kind of deal. Um, You just blanch your tomatoes and you core them real quick on the top, get the skin off of them, and then cut them in quarters, or if they're bigger, cut them in a few more. Um, and then we're going to put all that back in the pot. And I'm making a small amount of it today because we've been tomatoed out. Um, but it's a real simple thing. It's tomatoes stewed. It's called stewed tomatoes with bread. But I put my bread on top and I toast it in the oven after I stew the tomatoes. So I'm just going to, once I get them all skinned and everything cut up, I'll put them back into the pot by themselves, no water, and cook them for a little while till there are any parts of it that might be kind of firm or tender. And then I'll take and put them in a pan, in a dish, a baking dish, and then I'll take my bread chunks. I'm going to chunk up bread. I like to use ciabatta bread because it's a nicer bread to handle and work with. So I'm going to be cutting that up in about 1.5 inch squares, and that's what I'm going to put on top. What I add to, usually I make a bigger batch, so what I'm going to add to this is a tablespoon of sugar and 2 tablespoons of honey and a little bit of garlic. That's at my wife's request. So I'm heating up the water. I'll get them blanched, and then I'll show you over at the table how I, core and skin those and everything. And I'm careful to try to save all the juice. And then we'll get it back in the pot and get it all ready, and then put it in the oven for just a little bit to toast the bread on top. And voila, you got to do a good side dish. Alright, so I'll be back in a minute after I get the tomatoes blanched, and I'll show you how I skin them and core them. Okay, be right back. Alright, here we are at the table. I blanched these tomatoes for about 3 or 4 minutes. They have a little tougher skin on them than some. They're heirloom tomatoes. You'll see that I have them on a little rack in here. That's to catch any juice that may come out of them. And if you'll notice, on all my cutting boards, I have a little groove that goes all the way around. That helps catch some of the juice too. It also helps keep some of the overflow onto the table. So anyway, let's go ahead and see if we can take and skin these jobbers. See the skin coming right off there. That's a big one. Okay, I'm going to leave it kind of like that. And I'm going to cut it in half. This is a coring knife, by the way. Got that little hook on it. Take and core this out a little bit. Get rid of the stuff I don't want in it. skin, that real hard stuff out of the middle. That's not going to tenderize any time in the near future. This ain't going to take too long. I go ahead and just cut them up into pieces like this. Once I push that back a little bit, piece of skin there, no. Get the rest of this around here. It is not skin, that's meat. Alright, go ahead and core this out. I think these will be alright. Chop her up in some pieces. And then, before these grooves get all full, go ahead and run her right down into there. Skin off. Some people know how to do this real well, some people don't know nothing about it. That's why I'm showing you. Okay. Core this thing out. When I say core, it doesn't run all the way through to the bottom like an apple or something. It's just the top. These good homegrown tomatoes that I cherish so much, especially in the deep of the winter, wishing I had them. They're a little, they got that little bitty green thing sticking out of the top at the grocery store. They got some pretty good connection to the vine. There we go. Go ahead and run that down in there. Pull this off of here. And when I say I blanched them, I put them in hot water, boiling hot water, for about 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. It really depends how ripe they are. These took about 4 minutes. So you know they're ready to pull out whenever they start splitting. The skin starts splitting on them, you know you're ready to pull it out of there. And that skin will come off. These heirloom tomatoes are kind of wicky-wacky. They go all different kinds of ways, but man, they sure got a good flavor. They're not as high as acid as some of them, depending on which kind it is. These are not real high in acid. that. And the skin and stuff I will take and put over here. Out of there, that's meat. That's all good stuff. And there's why I do it in a pan. That's why I set them on a pan. We'll take and cook these down some. Not a lot. But that's what I've got to work with there. And I will see you over at the stove once I get these cooked down a little bit. See you there. Okay, I've cooked them down about far as I'm going to. As I said, these are a little firmer. They took a little longer. You just kind of have to feel it out. You want them soft. They're not going to get a whole lot of baking time in the oven, so this is about it. Now, some people would, well, just take it and pour it in the pan like that. No. You do that, you're liable to be wearing some of it. And this stuff is hot. This. On this little dish, I put 2 tablespoons of honey and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And I can pour the rest of that in there, I believe. There we go. Bring this up here where you can see it a little better, maybe. I'll get right on that burner. 3. Alright, you can see it a little bit better now. I have my cubes of bread right here. Now this is a good example of, I like to always point out, tomatoes can be considered a fruit or a vegetable. We put sugar in this and cooked it down a little bit. We're heading in the lines of fruit. Alright, I'm going to take my bread. I'm going to spread it around. Some of it on the bottom is going to start soaking it up right away, but not all of it. Now I want the oven set 75. There you go. And that is about that. Now I'm going to put this in the oven in just a few minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like when I get it out. And I'll remind you of what the ingredients are again. And I'll be right back. And there you go. That's stewed tomatoes with bread toasted on top. The old timers used to make it real simple. They just made up some stewed tomatoes and then they put some just put some bread in it. But this makes it look a little bit better on the table, and it's getting nice and crunchy with the tomatoes, so I really like it, and I know several other people do too. So there you go. Stewed tomatoes with bread toasted on top. As I said, you've seen the tomatoes I stewed, got ready and stewed. And then I added a tablespoon of sugar, 2 tablespoons of honey, and then I sprinkle a little garlic in for my wife. I don't normally put that in there. And that's ciabatta bread toasted on top. Good stuff. My wife likes it a lot, so you might try it. Might be a whole different taste for you when you think about tomatoes. So I'll see you next week, or next time, hopefully before next week, and we'll have something else for you. Thanks for tuning in for Cooking for the Hungry. And remember, you can get a paid membership and get access to a lot more. $5 a month or $50 a year. And I appreciate you tuning in and supporting my podcast. And I'll see you next time on Cooking for the Hungry. Bye now.